Some other losers in this game. Technically, the tank. So I'm going to get back on my soapbox for a minute, JT, because I have some strong thoughts on this. The tank took a hit last night. The Titans win that game, and so they fall to the 9th projected draft pick as of right this minute. If they had lost, they would have moved up to about 5th. I believe they entered the game at 6th. They fall back to 9th currently. But this young core found a way to win, and they looked impressive in doing so. And that is arguably more valuable, in my opinion. Here's the take, and folks are wondering, I've had some folks on the internet confused about my stance on this and what I'm preaching. Am I floundering? No, I'm reporting the stats on where they are in the tank, and it truly is a win-win situation for this Titans team. Every game is a win-win situation. Either they lose and they improve their draft stock, or they win and they find a way to win with their guys. But the reason why I'm pushing back my ultimate foot in the sand here is anti-taking for this team is this. Winning in the NFL is hard, man. It's really hard. Winning in the NFL is also a skill. Winning in the NFL is good. Those are all things that are true. Another thing that's true, the draft is a lottery. Ultimately, you're playing the numbers. It's a crapshoot at the end of the day. And this team, no matter what happens the rest of the year, they're going to be drafting plenty high. Like, you can rest your pretty little head. They're not going to have the 23rd pick in this draft. They're going to have a perfectly high draft pick in a draft chock full of really talented players that I can't wait to talk about in the spring. Wake me then. But tonight was very good for the Titans, who have their young core in Will Levis and Tyjae Spears. And that is why I don't buy into this idea that tanking is for this team. They don't meet the criteria for tanking, in my opinion. They should go forth and prosper with who they have. And who they have is the reason why they shouldn't be tanking. Tanking is for two different types of teams, JT. Tanking is for teams that, one, don't have the young quarterback. The quarterback that they have, he's not the guy. They desperately need a quarterback high in the draft. You should be chasing after that tank. You should be chasing after that draft pick. The other thing that tanking is for teams that have good quarterbacks, but they are old and expensive. They are veterans and they cost you a lot of money. And the rest of your team is so devoid of talent that you just can't compete, and you've got to restock and get some real talent around that quarterback. Those are the two types of teams that tanking is for. Tanking is not really for teams that have found their guy. He is young and he is free functionally to the team. That's where the Titans are with Will Levis. Like, he's their guy. They have their guy. When you're that team, tanking is nice if you need to add pieces around the guy like this Titans team does. But ultimately, you don't really fit the bill. You should start trying to figure out how to win with the guy now, because, again, tanking is good, or winning is good. Winning is hard. Winning is valuable. It's a skill. It's something that you got to learn to do. And having some experience in the winning category going into next year, if you didn't find ways to win with Will Levis this season and went into next year having not really maintained or created any momentum in that category going into that season, how can you possibly consider yourselves anything more than a team in a transitionary year? Like, if you want to be a contender quickly, and when you find a very good young quarterback like this and you have a bunch of money to spend in the offseason, you can become that very quickly. I think you really need to have some momentum rolling at the end of this season to carry over into that next year. And so that's why I think this is really important, and why I think that tanking, I'm not anti-tanking. I am anti-tanking when you already have your young quarterback, and the Titans have the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one, especially considering, like you were saying, when you get down to it, the draft, it is a crapshoot. But in this case, and this is very early, but in this case, it is a lottery that has better odds than you would think. Like, this draft class, honestly, picks 1 to 22 could be blue chip prospects this year. Like, there's no shortage. It's night and day from last season in last year's draft class.
This is not Black Friday 2006 where you're lined up and there are 4 televisions on sale inside and there are 70 people fighting for them. Like, there's a lot of good players in the, like you said, it's early. We're probably going to change our minds 30 times before the draft comes, and we'll dive into all of that in the spring. But it's pretty clear. I feel comfortable, as you seem to feel comfortable already, in saying whether the Titans picking at 9 or 12 or 15, that they're going to get a good player. I don't think that's a huge issue. And so I think it's a massive loser mentality to be distraught over that game for having hurt the tank. Who cares, man? Who cares? And I'm here to tell you, by the way, all the teams in this range, and we're going to talk about this in the news, all the teams in this range that should have been tanking, they pretty much all won. So it's kind of no harm, no foul in that capacity. And so that was technically a bad thing, but in my opinion, it was a good thing.